Mipa Rinpoche quoted from a teaching saying that if we were to chant with melodious sound of the seven-line prayer, then Padmasambhava would travel all the way from the origin Pure Land and arrive right in front of you, just like how when a child calls the mother. This example or this metaphor is quite vivid. Anyhow, it really depends on each and every one of yours connection. If you really truly can't generate any faith, I think you need to practice confession so that maybe you will make auspicious connections. Now let's look at Om Mahom Benza Guru Padmasambhava, out of which Om Mahom is the body, speech, and mind's mantra of the Buddhas of the three times. This is quoted in the benefits of the 100 mantras composed by Mipa Rinpoche. The very first mantra that he talked about was Om Mahom. This particular benefits or teachings on the benefits is also quoted. It was quoted from the text called the Tantra of Condensed Meaning, as well as Gyalasa Madra Tantra, as well as the Kyabje Tantra. Many tantras, in fact, has the teachings of that. Om Mahom is really important. By chanting it, it could burn because Om Mahom is the wisdom seed of the body, speech, and mind. By relying on the wisdom fire of Om Mahom, it could burn out the seeds of the 6 realms within our mind. So the power and the quality is really great. Now let's look at the meaning of this particular mantra. Vajra is the supreme essence of the Vajra family. And then the next one is Guru. Guru is the supreme essence of Rana family, which is the family of the East. And then of the East is the Vajra family. And then the Ratna family is of the South. Then in terms of Padma, Padma is the Padma family, and the Padma family is of the West. The Karma family is of the north, which is represented over here through siddhi. Home is the supreme essence of the Buddha family that is in the center. Om Mahom Benza Guru Padmasambhava, in fact, it is the mantra of the 5 Buddha families as well as the 5 Buddhas. The 5 Buddhas, for example, Padmasambhava, and the Buddhas as well as the female Buddhas, the protectors and retinues, all gathered over here. At the time when we chant Om Mahom Benza Guru Padmasambhava, all the 42 peaceful deities are included within this short mantra. Sometimes when we chant the liberation upon hearing, if we were to chant the mantra of each and every one of the deities, it takes a long time as well as a lot of effort. But if we can chant this short mantra, then all the Buddhas of the 5 Buddha families, the Buddhas of the 5 Buddha families, and the retinues and so on, and their mantras are included in this short mantra. In this mantra, Om Mahom Benza Guru Padmasambhava has all the different kayas of the 5 Buddha families. Om is the complete Sambhava kaya of the 5 Buddha families. I is the complete unchanging Dharma kaya. Hom is the complete Nirmana kaya, Guru Rinpoche. Now it has the Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya, the 3 bodies, the 3 kayas. Now, benza or Vajra is the complete assembly of Haruka deities, all the wrathful deities such as Yamantaka, Kalachakra, Mahakala, all of these wrathful deities. When we practice, there are 58 wrathful deities resides on the crown chakra of the chakra of our crown, the wheel of blazing bliss, that is, all the harukas, the wrathful deities, are complete, there is the complete assembly of the wrathful deities on the crown chakra of ourselves. And then Guru is the complete assembly of the Lama awareness holder deities, all the Vidyadharas. The Pema is the complete assembly of Dakinis and powerful female deities. Each one has different deities, and for example, Pema could include all the Dakinis and all the deities, mandalas, such as Kurukura and Vajravarahi and so on. And then in terms of the siddhi, it is the heart of all the wealth deities and protectors of hidden treasures. So Zambala, for example, and each of the turtles, they would hide their treasures. So that is siddhi. And then in terms of home, that is the heart of each of the every dharma protector. If we were to practice each of the deities, of the peaceful and wrathful deities, each of them could have a very extensive practice, and you probably don't have enough time to practice that. But if you want to practice them all together, then we can practice the Padmasambhava mantra, then that would be fine. Om Ahom Benza Guru Padmasambhava. Om Ahom is the heart of the three classes of Tantra. The three classes of Tantra, or three classes of transmissions. The three transmissions could be symbolic, hearing, and mind transmission. And some versions said that is three classes of tantras, but I didn't really got enough time to look into the other version, so I'm not sure. Let's see, three tantras. Maybe Kriya Chaya and yoga. But later we will talk about that. Maybe it's a general explanation of the tantras. Maybe three root tantras, three transmissions. Well, there are different versions of it. It's a little bit difficult to understand, so maybe we'll take a look at it and see if we can find a better way of explaining it. Because three tantras are explained in the later part of it as well, so we'll see. Om Ahom could be the tantra of the Vajra body, Vajra speech, and Vajra mind. Maybe that's what the three tantras mean. Anyhow, we can look into it later. And benza is the Vinaya and the Sutra. Guru is the heart of Abhidharma and Kriya Yoga. Vinaya, Sutra, and Shastras are the heart of the teachings of the Tripitaka. So Guru is the heart of Abhidharma and Kriya Yoga, and Pema is the heart of Upa and Yoga Tantra. Siddhi is the heart of Maha and Anu Yoga. Home is the heart of the Dzogchen Ati Yoga. All the way from the Sutrayana to Vajrayana teachings, the sutras and shastras to the tantras. For example, in the Tibetan Tripitaka, there are 104 volumes, within which there are many volumes, many texts of tantras and sutras. And this particular mantra includes all of that. Why it has such great merit? It is because all the great noble ones of the past, as well as Buddhism, bodhisattvas had bestowed blessings in this particular mantra, just as when we study Om Mani Mani Mahamani Soha, that Om Mani Mani Mahamani Soha can be a mantra that leads to complete enlightenment, because Avalokiteshvara relied on this mantra and attained realization, attained enlightenment. There are Sangha members of different dispositions where some may prefer to chant mantras and have great faith to mantras, and some rather not. It is very much because of our different karma. Different people have different inclinations and different dispositions. Not even just as a Sangha, in fact, twins could have very different inclinations and dispositions and characteristics. For that reason, we need to tolerate everyone and different people's different dispositions and inclinations. We should not have a sense of aversion towards them just because they have different inclinations. Now let's look at the next explanation. Om Ahom purifies obscurations of the three mental poisons. So maybe this is three mental poisons includes aversion and attachment as well as ignorance. So maybe Om Ahom is a general statement. Similarly, we can see that the previous one, the three classes of Tantra, includes what is stated afterwards because it is a summary statement. Now, Vajra purifies obscuration of hatred and aversion, Guru purifies obscuration of pride, Pema purifies obscurations of craving and attachment, and Siddhi purifies obscurations of jealousy, Home purifies obscurations of delusion and disturbing emotions. It seems that the first line, the Om Ahom, is a general statement, and then there's an extensive explanation in between, and then Home is another summary to summarize the meaning of this particular way of understanding it. Om Ahom, benza Guru Padmasambhava could very much be a mantra to purify our obscurations. The different mantras could have different effects, different functions. For example, the mantra of Vajrasattva is to purify our obscurations, and the Manjushri mantra is for us to have more wisdom. They have different functions. I remember the story of how a lama went to India but encountered some bandits on the way. After encountering these bandits, he killed them. And after killing people, he had lots of regret. So he confessed in a cave retreat for 30 years. During that time, he chanted about 700 million times of the Vajra Guru Mantra, and then he attained rainbow body. His whole body at the time of death shrank 2/3 of the size, and his mala that he used to chant 700 million times of the Vajra Guru Mantra was then gifted to Tokulongto. Tokulongto spoke of it, and I wrote it down, but in terms of when and who it was, I couldn't really remember too much. But it was written down, it's been recorded. For sure, it was correct and it was genuine, true. Anyhow, that person, after chanting 700 million times of Vajra Guru Mantra, he purified all of his obstacles, purified all of his negative karma, even negative karma of killing people. For that reason, we should see Vajra Guru Mantra as a great way to practice confession as well. And then the next one is Om Mahom grants the attainment of the three kayas. Vajra grants the attainment of mirror-like wisdom. Guru grants the attainment of the wisdom of equanimity. Padma grants the attainment of the wisdom of discernment. Siddhi grants the attainment of all accomplishing wisdom. Home grants the attainment of all that stems from primordial wisdom. Sometimes we would call it as the omniscient wisdom. Sometimes we will call it as the primordial wisdom, because primordial wisdom is the root or the foundation of all the other four wisdoms. Sometimes we speak of the primordial wisdom, or sometimes not. We've spoke and studied it in the adornment of the Mahayana Sutra Shastra, when we discussed why sometimes we speak of the four wisdoms, sometimes the five. Anyhow, by chanting the Om Ahom Vajra Guru Padmasambhava, you can attain three kayas and the five wisdoms. This is a mantra that would be best practiced if you want to review the wisdom, the innate wisdom. If you feel that the wisdom of three kayas and five wisdom is not sufficient, then you are simply saying that the Buddha doesn't have wisdom, because this is the wisdom of the Buddha.